You are listening to the CFB Channel podcast.
Hey, and welcome to the CFB Channel podcast. It is Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021. I am your host, Billy, and I am joined this week on video by Sean there in Woodstock, Georgia. Sean, how was your Saturday?
It's pretty good. I got to see Tennessee get that 6th win. You know, we talked about the road to 6 this year for them. They finally did it. So successful season for Josh Heupel in year one. And also, I mean, just a great day of watching football in general, and, you know, pretty low-key day for me after going to Knoxville the prior weekend. So it was a good day to sit and watch football and be around good friends and family.
And down there in Miami, feeling really bad about himself on audio only is Abel. Abel, how was your Saturday?
I mean, there's absolutely nothing to feel bad about. I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, it was a glorious day. And it was the last game of the season. You know, it's like bittersweet because you're happy that the season, especially for the Hurricanes, is over this year because it's just been such a season. But you're sad because, you know, you're used to seeing your buddies every other weekend and tailgating and, you know, just the whole game experience. So it was kind of like, you know, sad moment. But it was I watched a lot of football on Saturday. It was kind of like a beat down Saturday. I mean, Michigan State is still getting it from Ohio State.
Well, before we talk about how Ohio State put Michigan State into traction, Abel, are you in traction?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
You're not in traction. Is there any reason I would ask that?
Can we move on?
Okay. Ohio State 56, Michigan State 7. You know, it was 49-0 at half. This is the biggest margin of victory by two teams in the top 7 since 1945. This is a legendary 1945 Army team. I'm not being facetious. There really is a legendary team. Sounds pretty straightforward to me.
It was pretty hard to watch. I mean, we were watching this game, and it just was like, touchdown, Michigan State, 3-and-out, touchdown, Michigan State, like 15 yards and then another punt, and then just another touch. Like, it was just an absolute complete beatdown. Michigan State got no push on their defensive line at all. They could not get any pressure in the backfield. C.J. Stroud literally did whatever he wanted to with the football because he had all day to. And a team that passes that well, you've got to put pressure on the quarterback. And Michigan State did a really poor job of that. And then on the offensive side, Michigan State just wasn't there on Saturday. Just, you know, again, they weren't getting a good push off the offensive line. They couldn't get anything going for Kenneth Walker. It was just a completely dominant performance by Ohio State and a very disappointing performance by Michigan State.
Kenneth Walker, 6 carries for 25 yards. I mean, just a total non-factor because, I mean, Michigan State was down immediately. They had to start passing. And luckily they did because Peyton Thorne was 14 for 36 for 158 yards. C.J. Stroud, on the other hand, 32 for 35, 6 touchdowns, 432 yards.
Yeah.
Basically perfect.
That win right there basically is the reason why Ohio State moved to number 2 in the rankings this evening. I mean, just because you think about this game, everybody was saying, okay, is Michigan State good? They beat, Michigan. They had a fluky game against Purdue, but, they're a better team. But that score does not say anything about Michigan State other than that they completely overachieved, and Mel Tucker better had signed that deal already because, I mean, that score right there, we're talking about, that's like a Rutgers, Ohio State type of score, That's like an Ohio State, Maryland, not Ohio State, Michigan State when these two teams are ranked in the top 10.
Not
the
Michigan State team that we thought this was.
No, I mean, this is just, they completely, and again, do we agree that Mel Tucker has overachieved in year 2 at Michigan State? Absolutely, because that team was not very good last year. The year before, they were struggling under Mark D'Antoni's last year. You could see the downtrend going up. But here, I mean, this score just completely out of nowhere. And it just such a huge game on Saturday, which I got a feeling it might be a repeat of what we saw this past Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think you have too much of a hot take there. Staying in the playoff picture, Alabama 42, Arkansas 35. Alabama was, pulling away most of this game, but Arkansas just would not go away. And this is a really fun game to watch, especially at the end.
Yeah, that fake field goal late in the game, that was really exciting, and it was kind of giving Arkansas hope, but they really just didn't have an answer for Alabama's passing game most of the game. It just seemed like even if they caught up, tied it, it just wasn't going to matter because Bryce Young would just throw to Mechie or James Williams, any of those wide receivers, and Arkansas didn't have an answer for them. But I mean, Alabama's secondary is not good.
Problematic.
It's not good. That's probably one of the worst Alabama secondaries we've seen in quite a while.
It's got to be the worst under Saban, except maybe that 07 team.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never, ever has bad secondaries.
Yeah. It's very weird. Very weird.
I just think this Alabama team, which everybody coming into the season was talking about how great this defense was going to be, better than all those other years. But if you look at this team, they've been getting tested a lot lately, right? We can agree that against Arkansas State, it was a test. Next week, even though Bo Nix won't be here this week, I think it'll be a test, just a rivalry game. A couple of weeks ago, they were tested against LSU, the Texas A&M game. Like, they've been in a lot of these games, which I think has only helped this team because Georgia, they haven't played anybody or they have not been tested yet since week 1. And when these two teams, and Georgia plays Georgia Tech this week. That's not going to be a test. Probably going to be. That's probably. I think they're going to put on a bigger whooping on Tech this weekend than they did on whatever Coastal Carolina. Who did they play last week?
Charleston
Southern. All right. So I think it's helping Alabama because I don't think they're showing anything. They're in all of these close games, and they're facing adversity, and that's something Georgia hasn't faced all season. And when they play each other in 2 weeks in the Mercedes-Benz, I mean, that's going to be an advantage for Alabama that Georgia does not have right now.
Bryce Young, 31 for 40, 559 yards. That's the second most in the SEC in history. 5 touchdowns. Another basically perfect performance. But, kudos to KJ Jefferson on Arkansas. KJ Jefferson, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, average 10 yards per attempt. Treylon Burks, what a beast. This Alabama team's vulnerable, but these Tigers ain't the one to show them anything. But moving on, Utah 38, Oregon 7.
Whoops.
Another fraud, I suppose.
Yeah.
This Oregon team has been heading in the wrong direction ever since they beat Ohio State.
Well, they just haven't been really that good. They don't really have any impressive wins outside of that Ohio State game. It just did. I mean, the score surprised me. The fact that they lost to Utah didn't surprise me, but the score did. I thought Oregon's defense would be a lot better than this. I know they've had their struggles on offense, but they're just defensively. Well, it almost looked like they weren't motivated. Like
so much talent. I don't know what's happening. Yeah.
They almost looked like they just stood there and just took it. Like they weren't aggressive. They didn't get after it. They just stood there and took it.
I told you guys. I mean, one problem that Cristobal has is he'll have 1 or 2 of these games every single year. And it's like, I don't know, there's something to explain. He has said that this is by far, it's one of the youngest teams in the country. I mean, they have a lot of freshmen and sophomores making plays, and that was a tough environment. I did tell you guys that Utah was going to play this game, especially for some payback, especially after Oregon did. And I think that did play a role into this game. But 38 points on this defense that Oregon supposedly have. I mean, Thibodeau is supposed to be the number 1 pick overall in the draft. And they just looked like they didn't want to be there. Like, they just quit so early on. And it's like, dude, you guys were ranked number 3 in the playoffs. Like, what else do you want? You know what I'm saying? Like, what more motivation do you need to show out to this type of game? It's completely disappointing.
No surprise here, but Anthony Brown not good in this game, and I imagine that when your quarterback is so bad, and no turnovers, but just really inefficient, no downfield momentum whatsoever. When that's happening as a defensive player, it's really hard to stay focused. They should be better than that, but clearly they're not. Cincinnati 48, SMU 14. Abel?
Welcome back, Cincinnati. Enough with this great victory that they had. Now they play Houston this weekend, right?
They play East Carolina this weekend.
And then Houston the next.
So and the AAC title.
And I don't see any of these teams. Maybe Houston will give them a fight, but they did enough to get into this playoff spot now. They're currently at number 4 tonight, as the rankings were released about an hour ago.
That's right.
Which is huge. It's huge because now they literally have to just completely look like crap against one of these teams or lose for them to be out of the last playoff spot, which is it's incredible to say the least for this Cincinnati team. But they just look like your old Cincinnati team that we had not seen the last couple of weeks. And it's a good time for them to get back on rhythm and beat the crap out of the opponents they're supposed to. I just thought that this game was everything that we expected Cincinnati to do. And don't sleep on East Carolina on Friday, okay? Because Friday, after Thanksgiving, a lot of crazy things happen on these Fridays.
They'll have their bellies full of turkey and might be moving a little slow. East Carolina, you do have to watch out for them. I thought it was really impressive by Cincinnati and just the way they've looked the last few games for them to come out and make a statement like that. They're going to have to do the same, they're going to have to do the same against ECU, and they're going to have to do the same against Houston in the American title. I think if they're at least going to have to, at least against East Carolina, win by a couple touchdowns. And then I think if they just beat Houston in the title game, I think they're in.
Agreed. Houston is at the bottom of the rankings, but they are ranked. And this committee is really, they're really into ranked wins, even though they're the ones that make the rankings, of course. So, yeah. Staying in the playoff picture, maybe, kind of. Not really anything else. I guess Baylor 20, Kansas State 10. This was an even line. And, Baylor just went in there and just dominated. It's a really good team.
Really strong defensive performance. I thought with it being in the Little Apple, I thought, in Manhattan, Kansas, I really thought that Kansas State might push and get an upset. But no, Baylor's just good. Baylor's legit good. I've just kind of doubted them all year, and they keep proving me wrong. Bohannon's a good quarterback for them. They're going to push I think they have a chance for the Big 12 title game, right?
They do.
Yeah, they'll have to win this week and have Oklahoma State beat Oklahoma, and they'll hold the tiebreaker over Oklahoma. So that's definitely what Baylor would want. I actually would like to see a rematch of that Baylor-Oklahoma State game a lot more than I would of that Oklahoma-Baylor game.
Agreed.
I just think it's just something fresh. We can agree that Oklahoma is basically out of the playoff spot. Even if they beat Oklahoma State this weekend.
Speak no evil.
Please don't waste a spot on them. Please.
This team would get crushed by anybody in the playoff picture.
I'd rather just see a Peach Bowl rematch with Cincinnati, Georgia this year than I would a freaking Oklahoma getting shut out because they could not even stand in the pocket.
Oklahoma 28. Iowa State 21 this week. Oklahoma did win and cover, but they just don't look like we were just talking about. They just don't look like a playoff team. They don't look like a conference champion. The quarterback play has been pretty bad throughout the season. Sporadic. Yeah.
Inconsistent.
Those 3 words all mean the same thing. So
there you go.
We're all on the same page.
I still think Caleb Williams is their best hope. I mean, he was such a highly touted freshman quarterback, and I think, I mean, he's looked like a freshman quarterback. I mean, what else is there to say there?
Yeah, but like you think about it, it's like you had Spencer Rattler to begin with, and now this kid, but the offenses just look atrocious at times.
Spencer Rattler's a good quarterback. He's just not good enough to be Oklahoma's starting quarterback. Like, he's good enough to be,
this kid was putting up crazy numbers last year.
He's good enough to be the starting quarterback at, Arizona or, maybe Colorado, maybe schools like that. But
imagine like Mike Leach gets his hand on him.
He's gonna be at a different school next year. I have
Ole Miss.
Lane Kiffin's not going to be at Ole Miss next year.
No,
that's
not
right.
sure where he's going to be, but what is more Miami than money coming from nowhere?
First of all, money is coming from somewhere. It's just
Bitcoin.
These boosters decided to stop running their mouth and actually spend the money they say they would. So that's what's happening here. That's an off-season discussion.
I could definitely see Spencer Rattler at Nebraska.
Oh God,
no! That's just because him and Adrian Martinez sort of are the same person.
There's a third.
They need a quarterback next year. He's a quarterback.
There'll be another Martinez kid.
I don't know. I don't see him going to like LSU. I don't know.
Oklahoma.
I don't really see him going to school with a first-year coach, but I might be wrong.
Oklahoma State 23, Texas Tech nothing. Oklahoma State's defense is one of the best in the country, and Spencer Sanders just does just enough on the offensive end, and this Oklahoma State team keeps winning. Bedlam this weekend which we will talk about, will be for a spot most likely for a spot in the Big 12 title game.
Yeah, Oklahoma State in their last 4 games, they've only allowed 23 points. So, yeah, they've been really, really good.
Let me ask you guys something. Let's say that Michigan gets blown out by Ohio State. All right, so that eliminates Michigan. Notre Dame sneaks out a win. I think who they play this week? USC,
Stanford.
If I'm not mistaken, Stanford. This could be like a David Shaw special, where it's somehow David Shaw just ruins their season, right?
It's not what Vegas thinks, but
would a Oklahoma completely annihilation of Oklahoma win this weekend, and just completely blowing out Baylor in the Big 12 championship game do enough for you guys to put them over Cincinnati? If they
the most real possibility is that Alabama gets blown out by Georgia and Alabama's out. And then Oklahoma State jumps Alabama.
I think if Cincinnati looks competent against ECU and beats Houston, I think they're in. Unless Alabama beats Georgia, then it gets tricky. But outside of that, I think they're in because they're undefeated.
But what about Oklahoma State?
Oklahoma State's not undefeated. They have a loss.
No, but we're not. I don't think that there's any chance of them jumping Cincinnati unless Cincinnati loses. But I'm talking about Georgia wins out. Ohio State wins out. Cincinnati wins out. So then you got so then for the fourth spot, you have Alabama,
Notre Dame,
Oklahoma State.
I'll go Oklahoma State.
I mean, I would go Oklahoma State.
It's going to depend on the scores. If Alabama is really competitive against Georgia and only loses by a few points, they're probably still going to be in. If they get blown out by Georgia and Oklahoma State looks really impressive I think Notre Dame's out because they don't play a conference. They don't play a conference title.
No, yeah, their resume is not impressive. I mean, other than Cincinnati, they've not played a good team. Like a really good team.
Yeah, but you know what? Notre Dame will have what Notre Dame always freaking has, which is so stupid. oh, the name, the fan base, people would want to pay. The TV would love to see Notre Dame in the playoffs. Oh, you want to see Notre Dame blown out again in the playoffs?
I don't really think people want to see Notre Dame in the playoff.
You never know, dude. I don't count them out. I mean, this college football mafia.
I think Oklahoma State, if they went out and Alabama looks very non-competitive against Georgia in the SEC title game, yeah, I definitely think they could get that 4th spot. But if Alabama was probably even within 2 touchdowns of Georgia, it doesn't really matter what Oklahoma State does unless they just beat Oklahoma 42-0 and then
twice in a row.
Yeah. They would have to look really.
Or I guess not.
You kind of feel it too, where it's like, wow, that's super impressive. Like maybe they should be in over Alabama because Alabama just kind of looks whatever right now, and that could happen. So
I don't know, man. I don't trust Condi.
Condi's not involved in this anymore. Didn't we establish that last week? She was on Peyton and Eli last night. It was pretty charming. She's nice. She knows football. Like, she was good. She was good. Clemson 48, Wake Forest 27.
I was bummed out about this game. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too.
I mean, we were all pulling for Wake because just let them go to the let's just put Clemson. And of course, during the game they show the entire montage of all the championship appearances in the ACC championship by Clemson and who they beaten and the streak might be coming to. And of course, they blow them out. They put up the most points they have all season, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they look really good. Clemson look good. Like, they're obviously getting better offensively, and fear I say this, they might be back next year. The talent is there. It sucks.
Almost assuredly.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, unfortunately, Wake Forest's defense all year long has gotten them in trouble. They almost lost to Army because of it. It's been their big weakness this year. And Clemson has been improving on offense, but 48 points, I don't think they've improved that much. I think Wake Forest's defense is just that bad. They didn't get a lot of pressure on DJU. They had no answer for Clemson's run game. So Wake Forest has a big problem on the defensive side of the ball. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what they look like next week. I think they should win, but they're going to have to score a lot of points to beat Boston College to get into the ACC title game.
Wake Forest controls their own destiny at this point.
Yeah.
And if NC State beats UNC and Wake loses, then they're in. But if both teams lose, then guess who?
Yeah.
Mizzou 24, Florida 23. Dan Mullen was fired on Sunday. So LSU, USC, and Florida are all available. I don't know how they're all going to hire Urban Meyer and Jimbo Fisher at the same time. Who else is out? Mike Tomlin,
Lincoln Riley,
Lane
Kiffin. James Franklin is not anymore.
He signed a 10-year extension.
I thought that was interesting, seeing that he's 7-4 this year.
Had 2 disappointing years in a row and just signed a 10-year extension.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Mark Stoops.
You know what that's why he could do that, because James Franklin must be really, really good on LinkedIn or something. Like his network must be huge, and people they're just like, man, this guy is it. And it's like, I don't know, he hasn't produced anything. I know, I'm telling you, this is it.
The algorithm, he just knows the exact keywords to put in his description and his strengths.
Right, he gets all
the algorithm
searches.
is like, you type in there's like, what are we looking for a head coach? We need a highly motivated, innovative, anything with a "vative" word in it. And they're like, okay, look, James Franklin comes up. Wow, and Penn State immediately is like, they're getting messages from the LinkedIn premium accounts, and they're freaking out.
I do have some thoughts on the Dan Mullen thing.
Yes, please.
Florida's year has been very, very interesting. Just looking at their schedule, one thing I noticed, is it just me, or I feel it? Florida has not played at home a lot this year. They have not played in the Swamp many times, and I looked at their schedule. They only had 6 home games this year.
That's about normal.
I mean, I think you're supposed to have 7.
Yeah, so 6 is very low because they have the neutral. They had the neutral cider against Georgia
every year.
And then they went and played South Florida on the road.
That was a home game. That was a home game because Tampa is.
Wait, it doesn't matter, Sean. What's so?
I'm just saying. So Florida. So at home this year, Florida's 4-1 at home. They were 1-5 on the road. All those losses, all those humiliating losses to Kentucky, Mizzou, South Carolina, all of those were on the road. So I just feel like if a lot of those games I feel like if their schedule had been different this year, it could definitely be a different story for Dan Mullen.
You know what? I didn't have anything to say about this, but that's one of the weakest arguments I have ever heard in my entire life. And now you're gonna have making me get up from my chair because my back hurts. But now I'm gonna have to get up here so I can answer. Hold up.
I can't. We can't see you. This means nothing.
I'm sorry. For the listeners to know, just a quick reference. I busted my butt at the Hurricane game on Saturday. I fell. It started raining. My back hurts. I haven't been able to walk that much. It's been brutal, but whatever. And it wasn't because I was drunk. Okay, I was not drunk. Thank God. But let me tell you something. You're saying that, Florida, if they would have played more home games, cry me a river, Dan Mullen and Sean. I'm sorry that you have to go on the road to daunting places like both Columbias. Oh, my God, especially South Carolina, who's, they're a daunting place when they play that when they do the stupid towel thing that they do there, or Mizzou. Let me ask you a question. Did Tennessee go to Columbia, Missouri this year?
I'm not okay.
Let me ask you. Answer the question. Yes or no?
We did go to Columbia, Missouri.
And how was that score?
It was a blowout. I am not advocating. Not advocating for Dan Mullen here. I'm just saying I've listened to a lot. I've listened to all the conversations, and nobody brought up the fact that they were 1-5 on the road this year. I am not making that an excuse. I think Dan Mullen should have been fired.
It's an interesting observation.
That is what I'm bringing up here. I'm not making an excuse. I think Dan Mullen was terrible this year, and yeah, he probably
all the SEC. You guys pride yourselves in being in the toughest conference. You don't make Tennessee went on the road and won at Kentucky. They won at this place right here in Columbus, Missouri. Like, that's not an excuse, man. Like, the Gators. The reason that he got fired not only was because they were underperforming, because they've been 2-9 against Power 5 opponents since he decided to open his big mouth since that Wilson kid threw that shoe against the LSU game last year. That completely changed their entire season and that program. You know why they got fired? Because Dan Mullen, before the freaking Cotton Bowl last year, he's out there saying, the season's over. We're not playing for anything. You know what? If you start preaching that mentality to your players, the minute you lose a game, the minute you lose to an opponent you're not supposed to lose, there goes your season, because the players have already been preached on that if you lose 1 or 2 games, the season doesn't matter. And that's exactly what happened. And he's out there being pompous and arrogant, how he was in all his press conferences, talking about he doesn't need to recruit. He's doing the stupid Darth Vader thing when he beat Eli Drinkowitz last year. Look what happened this year. You know what? Karma is a Dan Mullen. Keep running your mouth, dopey Dan Mullen, and I'm enjoying every single minute of this. Let me lay back down.
All right, so you got Talk Radio Bell there, calling in from Gainesville.
First time, long time.
Okay.
Sorry, Sean. I didn't mean to get mad.
I think I was definitely not advocating for him or defending him at all. I think he completely lost that locker room and deserved to get fired. My whole thing was just bringing up that as an interesting observation. And if they had had more home games, would he still be the coach there? And if they would have had a better record?
Yeah, he did. I think if they win either of these if they beat Mizzou and they beat Florida State, he would have been okay. But obviously that's not what happened. He did a terrible job this year. And this is what happens when you do it.
It's a huge firing. It's a huge firing based on what he's done the last few years. I mean, he's been to a New Year's Six Bowl like 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
19 and 20.
probably, unfortunately, this just shows, where we're at in these kind of programs that fancy themselves 6-star national championship kind of level programs. You can't have one bad year.
Yeah,
you can't.
And as a Tennessee fan, I mean, hey, I'm thrilled that he's gone. We were 0-4 against Ambulance, so hey, bring in somebody else and see if we're better against them.
So we'll just going to run through some other scores here. West Virginia 31, Texas 21. So Texas now on a 6-game losing streak. Apparently,
this Texas team's done with Sark. They're not fighting for him anymore.
The players are clearly not playing for him.
Out. Checked out.
Maybe you don't bring in a coach because he said yes to your song that you like playing that the players don't want to sing. FSU 26, Boston College 23. FSU getting bowl eligible with a win next week, so they stayed alive for a bowl.
Yeah. Which,
given the lows of this year, is a big plus for them.
I'm actually interested in the Florida State game next week.
I agree. I don't think
I shouldn't be, but I am, because I'm just I feel again, this is in the swamp. They just lost their coach. Florida State's been doing nothing but trending up. This would be a huge win. I don't care if it is with the Dan Mullen-less Florida. That'd be a huge win for Mike Norvell.
Agreed. Penn State 28, Rutgers nothing. Abel?
Ugh. I mean, again, this guy got a 10-year contract out of this type of performance. Get out of here with that.
Funny enough, James Franklin's press conference today, he was talking about the game and kept calling Rutgers Temple. He actually did this a couple of weeks ago with the when he was talking about how we were focused on, what was it, Illinois, but they were actually playing Maryland or something like that.
Yeah, they were playing
on purpose now.
Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe he's trolling, but I don't know. Notre Dame 55, Georgia Tech nothing.
One last thing on the Penn State game, really interesting stat. Christian Velu was the backup quarterback, came in and threw 3 touchdowns, 235 yards. He is from Ottawa, Ontario.
Oh.
Canadian quarterback playing college football. How about that? Yeah.
They recruit from anywhere these days.
How about it, eh? All right.
Hey, touchdown, eh?
Yeah, touchdown, eh?
Yeah.
Notre Dame 55, Georgia Tech nothing.
Yeah. Really sad performance by Georgia Tech.
I mean, Tech is awful.
I mean, I know they said they were going to give I just blanked on his name.
Jeff Collins.
I know they said they're going to give Jeff Collins time to turn it around. But, I mean, they're not winning next week, so he's going to finish 3-9. So it's going to be his 3rd straight year having a 3-win season.
It's clearly not going up.
I don't know, man.
They schedule so ridiculously. Their schedules are absurd for the level of program they are. They're scheduling like they're Alabama.
They lost to Northern Illinois this year.
Well, yeah, and then that's the one.
That's unacceptable. You can't have.
Was their AD with under Paul Johnson towards the end of his career? He was like, you know what? I think by 2021 we'll have this thing figured out, and nobody will figure out the triple option by then. Let me schedule at Notre Dame and all this nonsense. They definitely did not want to help themselves.
What's Georgia Tech's best win?
They beat an ACC. They have a win.
North Carolina. They beat North Carolina.
They beat Carolina.
Yeah, that's crazy that they beat UNC by 23 points.
Yeah,
I would say the best win is I would say the best win is that win against a conference champion, Kennesaw State.
That's another good win. That was they
probably
There you go.
Wisconsin 35, Nebraska 28. The 2021 Nebraska. I mean, we're gonna check the stats at the end of the year, but this may be literally the statistically unluckiest team ever.
And that's why he's coming back next year.
Yeah, I agree. That's why they're like, hey, we're really upset with how this team's doing, but we feel like you're like a breath away.
They have
being pretty good, so we're gonna keep you on and see what happins. But
in the Big Ten,
when he's 1-3 next year, he'll be gone.
In the Big Ten, they have a positive. They're what are they like? They're 3-8. they have a positive point differential. They have more points than their opponents. They're 3-8.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that is crazy. Pitt 48, UVA 38. Brennan Armstrong did play in this game, and this was a fun one for the most part. But Kenny Pickett, this Pitt team, is
I mean, they didn't have a Pat Narduzzi game. I thought this would, when Brennan Armstrong was coming out, I was like, oh no, it's gonna be a Pat Narduzzi game. They're gonna drop it and it won't make sense. But no, they took care of business and they've looked really strong for most of the year. They've only had, I think, maybe what they had. I mean, they had like one when they lost to Miami. That was kind of like a Pat Narduzzi game.
that was a bad.
But outside of that, they've been. No offense about.
Well, no. The Pat Narduzzi was Western Michigan.
Oh, okay.
That was a bad one.
Yeah.
A tradition unlike any other. Miami, I want to say, has beaten the coastal champion 10 straight years.
So weird. That is so weird. Like, what's going on with that?
And have only been to the ACC championship once.
Michigan 59, Maryland 18. I don't really have anything to say here except that Michigan is this is the best that Michigan's looked in 5 years going into this game, going into the Ohio State game. So good for them. UTSA 34, UAB 31. UTSA staying undefeated.
Yeah, this was the last play of the game. They won on that crazy quarterback pass that got tipped. That was we were watching that live. That was insane. Yeah, they're kind of like a magical team. I'm going to be really interested to see what bowl game they end up in, especially if they go undefeated.
Probably a really disappointing one because they're undefeated Sun Belt team.
And that's going to really upset me. Like, you know what? If you're in FBS and you go undefeated, you should be in a decent bowl. Come on.
I agree, but if you're like, let's see, if you're Oklahoma, you don't want to play UTSA.
No, I'm not saying no. I mean, I'm not saying like a New Year's Six bowl, but I'm saying like
but if Oklahoma loses out, and then like they go to the Tangerine Bowl or whatever the hell, something like that. Like, I mean, you're just gonna want to play Iowa or just some team like that. You're just gonna, so if you lose, it's not that big a deal because any Power 5 team that loses to UTSA is like, what the hell? It doesn't even matter that they're undefeated.
I don't think Oklahoma. I think they'd be fine.
Just saying UTSA.
Oklahoma. They would destroy UTSA.
Just saying Oklahoma. I'm just throwing out a random, but you don't want to risk it. Or Texas A&M, they don't want to risk playing UTSA.
I would like to see what. So there's a bowl called the Texas Bowl, and I think that it's played. I think the Texas Bowl. It's either played in Houston or it's
in Houston. Houston.
Yeah, it's in Houston.
That's the Houston one.
I either want to see UTSA. It'd be awesome to see them either in the Alamo Bowl, which that would be a home game for them, or the Texas Bowl, which they would play an SEC team. So,
if they play the Alamo Bowl, they'll play Baylor.
Baylor wouldn't do it. I'm telling you, Baylor. They're just there. I mean, like this, like teams do not. Power 5 teams do not play undefeated Sun Belt teams. Period. Yeah, they're just gonna say no. They can go to another bowl game. This is what bowl games are.
You can. Wait, no, I'll decline it. But they have
they're gonna get like 8. They're gonna get like 8 invitations. It's not tiered like it used to be. Like you don't have to go. I mean, a lot of teams don't want to go to bowls.
Dave Aranda would be the biggest chicken in the world if he refuses to play him.
He's not going to be there next year.
How about that, Dave
He's not going to be there next year. He's not going to be there next year anyway.
Spanish. Eres una gallina.
Okay, got about 5 minutes left, so let's talk about our teams. South Carolina 21, Auburn 17.
Did it hit him? Did it touch him?
No, it didn't. It clearly did. So Auburn punted with 5 minutes left. And it was stupid. Shouldn't have done it anyway. And then it scraped Jalen Simpson allegedly. He was not the return man. It scraped his leg, they said. But oh my God, you should have seen the replays. They were going down to microscopic levels. Mm-hmm. The same technology that the damn Navy SEALs used to train a missile on Osama bin Laden's damn head is what they were using to find if this ball touched him. It was BS. I mean, Auburn shouldn't have been punting. You're Auburn. Come on. This is South Carolina.
South Carolina punted to you.
No, you're right. Well, you shouldn't have been in that situation. I'm thinking of a different scenario earlier in the game when we punted. I'm thinking of a different scenario, but you just shouldn't. It was just pathetic. Just a pathetic performance by Auburn, and going into the Iron Bowl, not feeling too good. TJ Finley did. TJ Finley's not.
I think looking at that, I looked at that punt return, whether if it hit him or didn't hit him, and I don't think it did. There wasn't evidence to overturn it. They didn't call it a fumble.
No, it was just a flat bad call.
Yeah,
but we have gotten the benefit of many good calls in the last couple of years. So.
But bottom line is, you still would have to go down the field and score a touchdown to win the game. And at that point in the game, Auburn was not moving the ball.
We hadn't done that at all. Yeah.
Because Auburn got up 14-0, and that was pretty much it. After that, South Carolina just shut down Auburn. TJ Finley really couldn't get anything going. Harson's, I'm hearing he's under a little bit of heat, but it's first year. You've got 6 wins. You're going to go to a bowl, and then you just got to get it together next year and get back on the recruiting trail.
The message board rumors, which I will not dignify too much, are that he's a candidate at Washington because Chris Peterson coached there, and he's a Chris Peterson disciple. I don't really. Yeah.
No,
and also the other message board rumors are that he's not vaccinated. No, all Alabama employees have to be vaccinated by a certain point sometime soon. And if he's not vaccinated, he'll be fired. He's vaxxed. He's just being a dick about it. But yeah, it's fine. Miami 38, Virginia Tech 26.
Fun game. Miami got off to a 21-3 start. Tyler Van Dyke sets the record for most passing yards. I think he threw almost 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, no INTs this week. The kid has literally been the silver lining of the season. We find ourselves a pretty good quarterback, I would say, especially heading into next year. Virginia Tech came back. They had an onside kick they recovered in the third quarter. They made a game out of it, but Miami kind of put them away early on in the fourth. Just a good performance. Again, it's weird, right, that this team doesn't quit on Manny. Like, you would have thought after they lost to FSU last week that, you had no shot at the Coastal. Your coach is probably going to get fired. Yet these kids came out and played hard for him. So I think Manning's playing or trying to get himself another job, maybe like at a lower level program. He's obviously showing that kids just won't quit on him. But, hey, they became bowl eligible. 6th win of the season. They play Duke on Saturday, try to go 7 and maybe win a bowl game for the second time in the last 17 years. So we'll see what happens.
So, Bill, if Miami, I believe they're going to beat Duke, I think, on Saturday. If Miami wins the bowl game and finishes 8-5, how are we feeling about Manny Diaz at that point?
He better be gone.
There's there's nobody to fire him. Okay, there's nobody to fire him. There's nobody to fire him. They don't have an AD. You can't fire your coach without an AD.
The AD will be here by the end of the week.
Okay. I mean, unless they have somebody like Lane Kiffin, they're not gonna fire him. But they might have Lane Kiffin. I don't know. I mean, I dismissed that. I dismissed that pretty hard at first, but it seems like there's smoke near that fire.
I mean, if you're.
What would Lane not want to come to
Okay. Real quick.
It's not. Yeah.
If you beat Duke and you win a bowl game, you'll have won 6 out of the last 7 games.
Okay.
That's
against
hard to
nobody.
fire a coach on. That's hard to fire a coach. That's
Agreed. Agreed.
How can it be hard to fire a coach on if this is year 3 and you start 2-4 for the first time since 1992? Like, no, he's done a horrible job. Look at the recruiting. There's no kids signing on to the program this year. He's going to have Wake Forest and Georgia Tech and Virginia are going to have higher ranked classes than Miami this season. I mean, there's nothing positive going on. The dude is obviously over his head. He's not a good game day coach. And there's nothing you can do. Like, I don't care. You won 6 out of your last 7 games. You played nobody. You were struggling against Georgia Tech at home when Georgia Tech the following week loses 55-0 against Notre Dame. I mean, you lost to a 3-6 FSU team. You beat nobody. Okay, great. You beat Pittsburgh. Okay, wow. Whoop-de-doo, Manny. Way to go. But what else did you do? You barely beat Appalachian State. You got trounced by Michigan State. I mean, come on, dude. I don't care he's won 6 games. This season was washed after a 2-4 start. The guy's a horrible coach. You keep rolling your eyes all you want, Billy. All right? Keep rolling your eyes all you want, okay? This team, he needs to go. There's nothing to say. I don't care about 6. Miami doesn't care about winning. You should be contending for the Coastal, not be out of the Coastal in the freaking early part of November. Okay? I'm sorry. That's inexcusable.
Tennessee 60, South Al 14.
It was a fun game. it was it's always really nice. My girlfriend disagrees with me, but I think it's really fun sometimes when you just know your team is just going to absolutely destroy the other team, and there's just no stress at all. There's just
agreed.
You just get to watch your team score touchdowns and just have a jolly old time and just dominate, and it's nice. Like, there was no point in this game where I was worried at all. Like, literally, it was a blowout from the beginning. It was 35-7 at the half. Though, and you know what? As a Tennessee fan, you don't get a lot of those. And South Alabama is not that's a respectable Sun Belt team. I think
they're going to go to a bowl, or they're playing for a bowl this week.
Yeah, they got to play Coastal. That's probably not going to happen.
Coastal does not have Grayson McCall. This Coastal's not
true.
Coastal.
But yeah, South Alabama,
they're playing for it.
Yeah. But it was really good to see. Like, I think the entire offense got involved. The good thing is they got a lot of reserves in, and Heupel, if Tennessee actually gets really good down the road, I could definitely see Heupel. He's going to start getting some, like, if he starts blowing out like pretty good teams, like I could see him start getting some heat towards the end of games, because he doesn't stop. They don't like move slow at any point. Like, we're up 6. We're up 56-14 South Alabama with like 3 minutes left, and we're still running a hurry up offense, throwing and running. Granted, we had like third or fourth string guys in, but yeah, even like the announcers are being like, "Come on, what is he doing here? It's 30 seconds left the game. Why are we throwing passes?" But it's like it's a walk-on quarterback going out there just playing. It's not like it was Hendon Hooker trying to bomb it to the end zone. So. Yeah, but it was really fun to watch and see.
It is rivalry week. So we're going to start on Thursday night, wrapping up your Thanksgiving with the Egg Bowl. Mississippi State is favored by 1 at Starkville.
Ole Miss is 9th in the country, and Mississippi State's favored by a point.
That is correct.
Why? I mean, it's a rivalry game, but why is Mississippi State favored here?
Because they could score a lot of points. And,
I don't make the lines.
Is it because Matt Corral has been struggling a little bit recently?
That's probably why. And I think that, Vegas thinks it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors. Maybe Lane Kiffin has his mind on other places.
True. Yeah.
Mike Leach should certainly not have his mind on other places.
Yeah,
You'd be surprised about that. I'll tell you a story in a minute.
I think Lane Kiffin cares about this game, though. I think he cares about this game.
Okay.
So I'm going to take Ole Miss, even though I think this is a Vegas knows something, but I think this is Vegas overthinking this game. Because I think Lane Kiffin cares. I think he actually cares about rivalry games, and he cares about this game. If this was like Ole Miss at Arkansas, and Arkansas was favored by a point, yeah, I would probably take Arkansas because the game doesn't really mean anything. But the fact that this is a rivalry game, it's at Mississippi State, both these teams have, really high power offenses. I'm going to take Ole Miss here, and I think Lane Kiffin does care about this game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ole Miss here, all in. Even though this is in Starksville, it's probably one of the nastiest rivalries out there. Like these teams just straight up, like it's just hate, right? And even when these teams both suck, these games are always close. It's the Egg Bowl, it's one of the craziest games. It's probably going to be the craziest SEC game this weekend. Sorry, Billy. It's just going to be a close, tight game. It's going to be a lot of high scoring. I just think Ole Miss has too much. And did you know that one Mike Leach back in 2006 got a recommendation letter from Donald J. Trump to be the coach at the University of Miami?
I was not aware of that story.
Yes. Mike Leach has a home down here in Key West. He's always down here. He loves boating. That's why I call him the Pirates. And he wanted to be in Miami. He wanted to get the heck out of Texas Tech and Craig James and all those people in Lubbock.
Well, before that.
He actually got his friend, apprentice host at the time, Donald J. Trump, to write him a letter of recommendation to the University of Miami president, Donna Shalala, so that she could hire him instead of Randy Shannon. But the university said, no, this guy's too crazy. And look at that.
Don't think that they were necessarily wrong. And I don't think that, especially back then, I don't think that a recommendation letter from Donald Trump would mean anything to Donna Shalala.
It would have been more fun than the 4 or 5 years of Randy.
It definitely would have been more fun than Randy Shannon, who was like the least fun and least productive Miami coach at that time in a long time, in 30 years. Yeah.
Then we met Al Golden.
So Mississippi State has been playing really, really well lately, including defeating my Auburn Tigers and blowing out Tennessee State last week. People are getting excited about that. I suppose that's why Mississippi State is favored. I'm like if I had to guess, I like Mississippi State here. I think this is a Vegas knows something, and I like what I've seen of Mississippi State the last most of the season, really. Other than the loss on the road at Arkansas and loss to Alabama, they've looked great this year. Well, they did also lose to LSU and Memphis, but they shouldn't have lost that game. So, give me Mississippi State here to win outright. So Cincinnati favored by 14, visiting ECU. Abel, we talked about this game earlier.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a crazy game. I'm interested to see if the ECU faithful will show out and try to make it a home field advantage. I mean, I feel like Cincinnati hasn't really been tested on the road other than that Notre Dame game, just because the opponents that they've played, I mean, it's just, let's be honest, these are not daunting places to play at. Right? USF, I mean, that Friday night game, they had like 10 people there. I think it's going to be a slow start for Cincinnati just because, like Sean said, I mean, you're recovering from Thanksgiving. It's just these 3:30 ABC games are so weird, dude. If you look back at history, there's always been an upset on these Friday games at 3:30. Like I remember a couple years ago, like LSU lost. All these crazy teams, they just lose. I think that year that Auburn beat Alabama, that was on a Friday night. Remember that crazy comeback by Cam Newton?
No, that was a 3:30 CBS.
Yes, that was a Friday after Thanksgiving game.
don't think that's true, but
Look it up.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
Okay. I remember that being on a Friday because it was crazy. So I just have a feeling about these crazy issues. I always have these gut feelings. So I'm going to go ahead and say that ECU will give it a game, but I think Cincinnati will cover 8 and they'll cover the spread. But it'll be a close game early on. Sean?
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about Eastern Carolina or ECU, they played everybody pretty close this year, except for Appalachian State in the Duke's Mayo Classic in the first game of the year. I mean, they lost to South Carolina by 3. They lost to UCF by 4. They lost at Houston by 7, and they've won the rest of their games. And they've won 4 in a row. But they haven't played anybody on Cincinnati's level this year. Mm-hmm. And with Cincinnati, knowing that they're going to have to – it's getting down to crunch time for them. It's not October 15th anymore where they can just kind of, roll into Tulsa and, slide by USF. It's crunch time now. They know that they have to dominate. And I think ECU is pretty satisfied with where they're at this year. They've had a really good year. I think it's going to be ECU taking it easy instead of Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is going to be all in. So I'm going to take Cincinnati to just blow the doors off ECU, 42-14.
So, Bill, you picked Cincinnati too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you were right. The Iron Bowl in 2010 was on a Friday.
Thank you. Like always, never doubt my sports memory. Okay? I think you should learn this by now. When have I been wrong? And I love proving people wrong. Oh, I love it so much.
Oh, no.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm the same way. ECU is going to be hyped for this game. The players are going to be hyped. I don't think that they're going to take this easy at all. The stadium is going to be hyped. Even if ECU is cool with going 7-5, I don't think the players are going to, or I don't think the crowd is going to allow them to just give up. Cincinnati's going to win this game. This team's too good and they're too locked in. But I like ECU to play it relatively close, through the first half. Cincinnati to pull away in the third quarter, and ECU to score late to cover this, something like 42-31.
Billy, really quick, check your drawer on your left-hand side of your desk.
Okay.
Get that L for me.
All I have is a stress ball that says I can
do it. I think there's an L there. There's an L there. I think there's an L there. Try find. Okay,
no.
There it is. All right. Perfect.
If anybody wants to pay my mortgage, here's my password. Okay. Moving on to Saturday, the game. Ohio State favored by 7.5 at Michigan. Ohio State has looked unbelievable the last few weeks. I think we're all going to pick Ohio State. I mean, just just prove it. Prove it, Harbaugh. Prove it. I'm cheering for you.
I mean, can we stop calling it the game? I mean, it hasn't been the game since 2007. Okay? Enough with the name. Okay? The game. It's going to be more like the blowout. Okay,
the blowout.
So, the blowout, which is what's going to happen. Ohio State, I mean, we all know. We've seen this before. I mean, nothing's going to change. Jim Harbaugh's at home against Michigan. I mean, against Ohio State with a shot at the playoffs, and we know what's going to happen. Ohio State's going to go in there. They're going to drop 60 on them, and Michigan's going to look buffoon, and Harbaugh's going to get a contract extension out of it, and people are going to say, oh, give him more time, and Ohio State's going to go to the playoffs and maybe, possibly upset Georgia. So, go ahead. Give me Ohio State by 50. 100. By 100. Can you give me 100?
All right. Sure. Sean.
So it's going to be 23 degrees at kickoff when these two teams kick off. I think that in really, really cold games, you actually see more offense than you do defense, just because it hurts a lot more to tackle than it does to catch a football, which means that this is going to turn into somewhat of an offensive shootout. I don't think Michigan's going to be able to keep up with Ohio State. Again, this is another Vegas knows something because I think 7.5 is way too low.
Well, the metrics say that these teams are almost. I mean, like Michigan's not that far off, like S&P plus wise and all that. They're not that far off.
And the reason why is because Michigan's played really good defense all year. I mean, Michigan's one of the better, defensive teams in the country. I just think on a really cold noon morning, it'll be overcast, cloudy, probably. I think this is going to turn into an offensive shootout that Michigan's not going to be able to keep up in. So yeah, give me Ohio State here. Lower than probably what Abel thinks, but yeah, something like 40-21, 40-24, something in that range. I think Ohio State wins comfortably by 2 or 3 scores and covers that spread.
I'd say like 42-17, something like that. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wake favored by 5.5 at Boston College. Chestnut Hill, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Chestnut Hill. Okay. Yeah. Favored by 5.5 at Chestnut Hill. If Wake wins this game, they will go to the ACC title game. If they do not, NC State and Clemson both have shots. So, yeah. Well, what do you guys think?
I mean, NC State plays North Carolina on Friday night. So if NC State wins, they'll just be hoping for a Wake loss. So they go to the ACC championship game. All right? But if NC State loses, I think it'll be more relaxing for Wake Forest. But then, unfortunately, we would mean the inevitable would happen if Wake loses, Clemson goes to the freaking ACC championship game, which is what nobody in America wants. Nobody, because we would know what they would do to Pittsburgh in a rematch in the ACC championship game in front of 70,000 Clemson fans.
And then they're gonna win the bowl game and finish in the top 5 probably.
Top 5,
11-3, finish in the top 5,
and then be ranked number 2 heading into the polls next year. So yes, that's definitely what we don't want. So I got Wake here going on the road. I mean, Florida State was handling Boston College early on in their game this week. Boston College made a late charge, but FSU held on. I think Wake Forest is too good offensively, and they'll be able to handle this Boston College defense, which has not been good. I know the quarterback for Boston College came back last week, but he still doesn't look 100%. But I just trust Wake Forest's offense a little bit more, and I just think they're going to the ACC championship game. They're destined to go there. So give me Wake Forest here.
Yeah, I don't think that Boston College has enough firepower to keep up with Wake offensively. I think they're going to put some points up on Wake, but Wake had an opportunity to close out and go to the championship game last week, and I think they were a little bit shell-shocked by how good Clemson played on offense. I think they'll be ready for Boston College this week, and I think Wake can win this game by a touchdown. I think I could see Wake winning this something like 34-27, somewhere in that realm. So give me Wake to go to the ACC title game and cover that spread.
Boston College has not been that bad this year. And Abel's right. They did struggle against Florida State for most of the game, but did pull back. Wake, however, has played awesome throughout most of the year. They were so hot. But I think they ran into a buzzsaw at Clemson, and I don't think that they recover. I think that Wake wins a tight one here, 34-31, but Boston College does cover. So next up is a 12. This is another nooner. This is for the MAC East title. It's Miami, Ohio at Kent State. Kent State is favored by 2. Again, whoever wins this goes to the MAC title.
I mean, Kent State big. Kent State runs a very similar offense to Ole Miss and Tennessee. They run the hurry up. They're one of the fastest offenses in the country. They've been playing pretty well of late, So I think Kent State here will win and cover. Well, it's only like a point, but yeah, Kent State will probably win, I think, by a touchdown.
This game's in Miami, right?
Kent State.
If it was in Miami, I would take Miami. Give me Kent State as well. Unfortunately, it would not be. Who was your pick early? I keep forgetting. Who was your pick to win the East this year, Billy?
My pick to win the East, it was probably it was Ohio, wasn't it? Yes, it was Ohio.
Solich, right? Frank.
It was Frank Solich, and I was going to say, oh yeah, he's going to win.
And
It's going to be magical, and
then
then
he quit. After.
He quit before the season.
So is that job considered an open job, or did they make the interim their permanent coach?
I have no idea. I'm assuming that they're hiring.
I mean, that's 13 jobs. That's insane.
Yes, it is a little bit. It is a little bit absurd, and it's probably only going to get worse. So, I'm trying to find. So Miami, Ohio is on the road here, but so Abel, what you said, Kent?
Yeah, Kent State.
Okay, Kent State. The computers really like Miami, Ohio here. This is a weird line, but Kent State's been mostly smoke and mirrors this year, running that big fast offense. But they're not really. They're, like I said, they're mostly smoke and mirrors. So give me Miami, Ohio to win and to cover. Unfortunately, we got to talk about the Iron Bowl. Bama's favored by 19 here in Jordan-Hare. I got a bad feeling about this game. I got a bad feeling about this Auburn team. So, Bama minus whatever.
I'm going to disagree. It's a rivalry game. I think Bama, they've already got the SEC title locked up. I think they could possibly sleepwalk into this game. I think Auburn, might, maybe Harsin's got some tricks up his sleeve. Not enough to win, but I think maybe enough to cover. Give me Bama here, 38-21.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you. I think Bama here. Like Billy says, Bama and over anything. I mean, it's a rivalry game. I think it's going to be close. In fact, both Knicks is not playing. It has a lot of things, but maybe a lot of running in this game, I'm sorry. I just think Alabama. It's a rivalry game. Nick Saban would just love to just beat the crap out of the new Auburn coach because he's just such a jerk about it like that.
Civil War. Oregon State at
Whoa.
Oregon. Oregon is favored by 7. If Oregon wins this, they win the Pac-12 North and go to the Pac-12 title game. If they do not, I'm a little bit confused because I've seen that Wazoo would win it with a win the previous night against Washington, but didn't Oregon beat Wazoo?
Yeah, but then they look at head-to-head, and they would have beaten Washington, but then they beat Oregon State. It's just a mumbo-jumbo. The only team that doesn't have a chance here is Stanford. Everybody else is alive.
I don't think that's
I'm not
true.
even kidding.
I don't think that's true. I don't know how to look it up. I've tried to look it up. I can't find like the permutations of this.
I'm gonna go with Oregon State here. I mean, no, Oregon. I know that they beat Oregon State last year. I mean, Oregon State won last year. Remember that crazy Friday night game?
I do. It's a total mess.
That everybody was saying like, "Oh man, had it." What is this? Corvallis, right? That's
Corvallis.
Okay, if you would have said that if it would have been a home crowd there, it would have been insane just because it was the first victory against Oregon in like 50,000 years.
Okay.
Give me Oregon.
I'm going to go Oregon State. I think Oregon just got their win taken out of their sails after getting pummeled by Utah. I don't know. I mean, I know if they win, they're able to go to the Pac-12 title and still play for a chance to go to the Rose Bowl. But I don't know. I think they got punched in the gut last week. Oregon State's trending up. They've looked really good in their last 2 games. They've really looked good for most of the year. I mean, really their worst game was when they went to Cal and lost by 2 touchdowns. But other than that, they've been really close in a lot of games. So, yeah, I think this game is going to mean a lot to Oregon State. I think they can keep it competitive. I don't know if Oregon State will win, but I think they can keep it closer than – you said it was 7, Billy?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they could keep it within that at a minimum. So yeah, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and take Oregon State outright. Big upset for them. Let's muck it up. Let's muck it up in the Pac-12 North.
So I was wrong. Washington is out.
Washington is definitely out. Yes.
Cal is 3-4, so they're out as well.
Okay, and Stanford is out.
It's down to Washington 5-3, Oregon 5-3, Oregon 6-2. So if Oregon State beats Oregon, they would be 6-3. Oregon will be 6-3. Washington will be 6-3. But then Washington has a better.
You mean Wazoo? Yeah.
Yeah, Wazoo has a better record against the rest of the North opponents. It's something crazy like that. It's like a tiebreaker where Washington's. If all three finish tied,
it's a three-way tiebreaker.
Goes. Yeah,
it's a three-way tiebreaker. Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Okay. So Oregon State, and Wazoo would all have the same record, and there's a tiebreaker, which would go to Wazoo.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oregon State only wins if they beat Oregon, and Washington State loses to Washington.
I don't think that any of this will matter. I think Oregon's just so much more talented, and after coming off, the loss last year, I don't think that they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna give this
Stanford.
up. And Oregon is gonna be. It's gonna be Eugene is gonna be rocking. So give me Oregon to win and cover.
Is Eugene gonna be rocking?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's for a rivalry game.
I'll be disappointed. I'll be sad. You just blew away a chance to go to the playoffs.
I'd be sad.
I don't know. I feel like their fans.
Maybe could it be that maybe Mario has his head somewhere else?
Certainly not the place that you're talking about.
We'll see about that.
That'd be ridiculous. Oh, he was in that documentary.
He did say it in an interview. He misses his mom.
You're saying that he can't buy his mom a friggin' apartment building?
His mom is not leaving Miami to go to hell in Eugene, Oregon.
Well, then maybe she don't want to be around him that much. Maybe he needs to take a hand.
I don't know about that. You don't know about Cuban mothers, all right?
I know Cuban mothers.
You don't know about that.
Actually, I don't think she's actually Cuban. Is she Cuban? No. She's not Cuban.
No, she's not. She's not full. No, she's not full Cuban.
No, she's not full Cuban. Okay.
No.
All right. You let her determine if she's full
Mario's
Cuban.
mom is legit a Cuban mother, like born in Cuba.
Right, Cuban Cuban refugee, the whole deal.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
She ain't leaving Miami.
CUSA East title game. It is Western Kentucky at Marshall. This line is even. Marshall started off slow this year, but did get it into gear by conference play time. And Western Kentucky, pretty similar, running the Houston Baptist offense. They brought Houston Baptist offensive coordinator, their quarterback, and two of their receivers to Western Kentucky. And Hilltoppers are in the position to win this division and possibly win the conference. So give me WKU to win.
Yeah, me too. I think at Marshall, though, it's going to be a little tricky. But I do like it's a remarkable turnaround by Western Kentucky. I mean, they won the East. Nobody would have thought if they win the East, that was not one of the picks early on.
I was pretty impressed with them last week. They really smothered FAU. It's at Marshall. They're planning to go for a championship game. I'm going to have to go with Marshall. It's at Marshall, playing to go to a championship game, so I'm going to go with Marshall.
Marshall. All right. Wisconsin favored by 6.5 at Minnesota. This is 4:00 on Fox. With a win, Wisconsin will win the Big Ten West. If they do not, then Iowa would win it, assuming they win at Nebraska on Friday.
Ugh.
So, yeah, I really hope Iowa doesn't get in the Big Ten title game.
It's funny how we're all like, oh, Oh, Iowa. Oh.
With that being said, Wisconsin's been playing so well, since they're really just terrible start. And, Minnesota is mostly slowed down, although let's pull up their recent record here, or their recent schedule.
Debacle.
Blow out Indiana, lost to Iowa, lost to Illinois. Yeah, that's terrible. Anybody can blow out Indiana. It looks like. Boy, were we all wrong about them for the most part. Give me Wisconsin to win on the road here and cover and win Paul Bunyan's axe. Legit rivalry.
I know. I like Wisconsin to win. I like Wisconsin to win for sure. Minnesota's been in a lot of close games.
That Illinois game just killed your season.
Yeah.
Illinois must be like, if you play Illinois, you're like, oh, they just ruined so many people's season.
I'm gonna take Minnesota to cover. I think Wisconsin will win by a field goal, but rivalry game, Paul Bunyan Axe, gotta take the points there. So yeah, give me Minnesota to cover, but Wisconsin to win.
No, I got Wisconsin here all the way. I just think, they've been playing so good lately. They're destined to go and give Ohio State a 28-42 game. So, yes, give me Wisconsin here.
Saturday night, it is Bedlam. Oklahoma State's favored by 3.5 here. So,
Billy, I'm sorry, you didn't say who you wanted.
I said Wisconsin.
Oh.
Yeah. Nobody listens. Okay, so if Oklahoma wins this, they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma State wins this, they are also in. But Oklahoma State has to win to get in, and Oklahoma does not. Is that I made that sentence way more complicated than it has to be.
Yeah.
If Oklahoma, I think Oklahoma has to win to get in.
This is another three-way tie thing.
Well, okay. So if Oklahoma State wins, whoever wins this game, that's it. Confirm they get in no matter what, because they'll be with an 8-1 record, right?
Okay.
If Oklahoma State loses, but then they beat Baylor, they'll have the head-to-head tiebreaker with Baylor. But Oklahoma
they've already beat Baylor.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll have the head-to-head tiebreaker with Baylor. And Baylor, if Baylor wins and they'll finish 7-2, and Oklahoma State is also 7-2, they'll go to the championship game. But if Oklahoma loses and Baylor wins, Baylor goes to the championship game because Baylor has the head-to-head against Oklahoma. You get me?
Yes.
So Oklahoma State basically can get in two ways. Win and you're in, lose and hope for Baylor to lose.
Baylor plays Texas Tech on Saturday afternoon.
Wait,
Baylor's favored by
15
Baylor, in that
doesn't
game.
Baylor already have two?
Yeah, actually, Oklahoma State is technically in.
Yeah. Baylor has 2 losses. They have the tiebreaker. Yeah, so, I don't –
We should do a podcast.
Yeah,
I know. This is way – I always get – can I just Google this? Can Baylor –
Why are we complicating ourselves? Oklahoma State is in. Simple as that.
Big 12
Oklahoma
title.
needs to win to get to the championship game. Period. That's how it is. Simple as that.
Okay. 2 days ago, Waco Trib. This is the local paper there. Let's see. Well, they're not going to let me read it. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Kansas doesn't have a shot. That's all you need.
Kansas is out.
So
Texas.
It's as simple as this. Oklahoma State is already in the Big 12 title game. Win or loss, they are
in no matter what.
Yes. Okay. This article on Fansided says Oklahoma win and in, Baylor win and Oklahoma loss. Yeah. So
yeah.
Okay. So if Baylor wins, they're in. Or I'm sorry, if Baylor wins and Oklahoma loses, they're in.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
That's it. That's the only thing that matters. Don't think about Oklahoma State.
With that being said, Oklahoma's 14-2 against Mike Gundy. So give me Oklahoma to win and force the rematch.
No. I mean, as much as I know that Oklahoma State is like, it's just in their DNA to lose this game. At home with a lot to play for. I mean, it's just historic. And I don't think they would. I mean, you could literally kill two birds with one stone. If you beat Oklahoma, you go to the, you don't have to play them again next week. If you lose to Oklahoma, you have to see them again next week in Dallas, in a home game for Oklahoma. So I got Oklahoma State here. They'll put everything that they can. I mean, that defense is good. I think this might be the best defense Oklahoma has faced all season. I think this Oklahoma State defense is better than the Baylor. Yeah, I think they're better than Baylor. So give me Oklahoma State here. I think Mike Gundy is going to finally get his signature program-defining victory, on year 17 or whatever. Oklahoma State.
I think with it being at home, the way Oklahoma's looked, I wasn't super impressed with how they looked last week, even though they did beat Iowa State. I think Oklahoma State's defense is good enough to win this game, and I think put enough pressure on Caleb Williams to force him to make mistakes. So I'm going to take Oklahoma State to win. What's the line again?
Oklahoma State by 3.5.
Oh, God, that's a perfect line.
I mean, you're so confident about it.
Go ahead, boy.
But I think they're going to win by 3.
Of course you do.
So that makes me take Oklahoma. Yep, that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say Oklahoma. Yeah, I hate doing that, but that's what happens in those 3.5 point lines.
Pansy.
Oklahoma State by 3. Oklahoma covers.
Yeah,
I know.
No kidding. Okay, moving on to the rest of the games. We can just run through these quickly. Florida State is visiting the Swamp like we talked about. Florida's favored by 1. This is a bowl. So whoever wins this is going to go to a bowl, and whoever loses is not going to. I mean, what a fall from grace for both these programs. Well, obviously it's been happening for a while. Same thing, Maryland Rutgers. That is also a bowl. Middle Tennessee at FAU. I know that's getting everybody real hot under the covers. LSU is hosting A&M. LSU playing for a bowl as well. A weird year.
Yeah. One game we didn't really talk about, pretty big game. I think it might be potential. I don't know if it has any Mountain West implications. Boise State at San Diego State.
Okay, so I have done this whole thing. So you started this. Just remember that. Okay. Fresno on Thursday plays San Jose State. San Jose State is playing for a bowl. If Fresno wins, well, okay. If San Diego State wins on Friday, they're in, period. Okay. If San Diego State loses, then Fresno or Utah State is in, depending on the tiebreakers. Again, the tiebreakers are really confusing. If Boise wins on Friday, then Boise would win with a you know what? Okay, I'm sorry. I lost it.
I'm getting a headache listening to this.
I lost it. There's a lot of Mountain West implications is the main point.
You know what? I think San Diego State's going to beat Boise anyway and just make everything really simple. So
okay.
It's at 9 a.m., right?
It's Friday at 12 o'clock Eastern, and is at San Diego State.
I also
what the hell?
It's LA. Like what? Like people.
9 a.m.
People don't even get up that early to go to work in LA at 9 a.m.
No, especially not on Black Friday.
That game is on CBS.
Yeah, which I get, but like, why noon?
Is that gonna be a Gary Danielson and
No,
Could be.
no,
CBS.
it's gonna be the damn
The backup crew.
who's the Aaron Murray?
Oh,
It's gonna be an Aaron Murray game, and because Mizzou and Arkansas play later. No, you know what? That's gonna be the Aaron what's that dude's name?
No,
He's been
Aaron
there for
Murray.
no.
Yeah, he's been.
The
I
other
know who you're
dude,
talking about.
the dude who's been there forever. He's bald. He's been
Aaron Taylor,
Aaron Taylor. Yes,
former Notre Dame.
yes, Aaron Taylor. That's gonna be an Aaron Taylor game. And Mizzou Arkansas at 3:30 is gonna be a
Aaron
Murray game, and then the Iron Bowl will be Gary Danielson.
Gary Danielson.
Yeah. They're not. Gary Danielson's not calling 2 games in a row or 2 games in 1 week. It's not happening.
So Kansas. I will go ahead and note this. I think Kansas State is going to destroy Texas on Friday. I think Texas is ready to get out of the season. I think Kansas State's really gonna. And Texas is favored. Why? Why is Texas favored?
I agree. I mean, I don't know if they're going to kill them, but I mean, K-State should definitely be favored in this game.
I think K-State's going in by 17 points.
Yeah, very, very strange.
Miami
favored by 21 at Duke. Tennessee is favored by 31 hosting Vandy.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's gonna be ugly.
Clemson.
No, I mean Tennessee's gonna win comfortably, but not by 31. Vandy kept it close against Ole Miss last week. They're getting better.
Yeah. Clemson's favored by 11.5 visiting Columbia, South Carolina. Louisville's favored by 1 against Kentucky, hosting Kentucky.
They hate each other.
That's a Vegas knows something line right there.
That's a weird.
I would lean into that. That doesn't make any sense, but I would lean into that.
Notre Dame favored by 17 at Stanford. BYU favored by 7 at this helpless USC team. And your final regular season game, I guess. Well, not really, but Cal at UCLA. Now, who can see me at 1:30 in the morning on the couch, asleep for 2 hours, pretending like I'm going to watch that game?
Oh, I mean, I'm going to be all over that game. It's like the perfect, put the TV on, in the bedroom, just kind of lay down.
I don't have
check
a TV.
Twitter.
I'm not doing any of those things in my bed. It's 2 things your bed is for. 2 things. Whoa. 3 things your bed is for. 3 things your bed is for.
Go ahead and list them.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We trying to get an E-tag on here? We're trying to get explicit?
Go ahead.
Okay, it's for sleeping.
Okay.
Reading something that does not have light on it.
Okay.
I know you don't sleep anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
okay, that's 2.
And maritals. Or not maritals. Whoa. If you're not married. It's okay if you're not married. I don't have a problem with that.
You're not We're not going there. We're not going there. Huh.
Maritals.
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 What about pillow talk?
That means sex.
That is good for pillow talk.
No.
I think
pillow talk?
Man, no talking. I don't talk.
There's like 30 different things you use a bed for, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm saying there's 30 different things you could use a bed for, but if you're trying to sleep and have a healthy life and stuff.
You can build a tent, you can jump on the bed.
Creepy sight, you don't talk.
You can explore you can explore new linens. There's a lot of things you can do with beds, man.
You don't talk?
Explore new linens? What does that mean?
Oh, look at that! Look at the crease on this.
And you try it out, and you're like, this is a little rough, and then you send it back, and
it's already in your bed. You seriously sleep in sheets and then send them back?
Well, if you buy sheets and you put them on, you're like, it's kind of rough. And you just package them up, send them back, and you go order some other sheets. I've done that before.
No, you go to.
You are a pariah.
Yeah, dude, or you go to Bed Bath and Beyond or Anna's Linens and you get yourself some nice sheets. You touch them before you
but when you feel them. Okay, so when you're at the store and you feel them, it's different than when you
no. The way that you mean feel them, you can only do in your own bedroom. You can't do it in a store.
Right.
Yeah, but when
what you mean?
Returning it?
Yeah,
That's wrong.
No, you mean
your hand.
No, because you got to feel them with something else for you. Is that what we're getting at here?
I mean, my whole body.
We know what you mean by your whole body.
I've never once laid down on sheets. I'm a man. I've never been, oh, man, these are rough. Let me return them. What kind? Man, you know what? Send me your man card right now. I'm going to send you my address. Who the hell? You lay down and you're like, oh, these are rough on my back. I can't sleep on this. Let me return this.
I'm particular about my bedding, okay?
Well, that's probably because you sit in bed and watch TV for like 8 hours a day. Like, no wonder you can't fall asleep. You're in bed all day.
Well,
you're in bed right now.
You're in bed right now. I can see your bed. How do you expect to sleep after this?
I love my bed. I don't have trouble sleeping. I sleep fine.
Okay. Well, why do you need such particular sheets then?
I don't sleep.
I like the comfort. It helps me. That's the reason why I sleep well.
I sleep 5 to 6 hours a day, maybe max.
I sleep 7 to 8, but that's probably about to change. I just got a new job for anybody interested.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it after the Zoom.
Yeah. No, I am a pillow talker. You know, if we're not busy, which we are busy.
I love pillow talk. You know,
I do too.
Like my wife says that I give her too much. Like sometimes, like I'll just randomly like. But do you think if we get a new offensive lineman, you know, like it's going to be like, what are you talking? Like I don't know. That's some of the pillow. Like sometimes I just have to ask her a question. Like, hey, you know, like you think the Marlins getting a right fielder over the left fielder is going to really improve the lineup this year? And she has no idea, but she'll just go along with it. So I think it's a perfect pillow talk. My wife's a safety, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. She puts up with quite a lot.
So this is our last podcast of the regular season. So the next time everybody hears from us, it's going to be
the next time we talk. We're going to be previewing.
I guess we'll be talking about
Pittsburgh.
I guess we'll be talking about next week is Army Navy and Cal USC, of course. Obviously we should still record to talk about those.
Next week we're talking about championship.
Wait, you're right. No, Army Navy is the week after that, after championships. Yes. Okay, so next week we're going to be talking about championship games and then irrelevant games like Army Navy, unfortunately, and then USC.
Cal USC, and then the bowl games.
And then we'll be doing the bowl games. Okay, well, that's very exciting. Hopefully this rivalry week will be very exciting, and this will, just be a chaotic season like it kind of looked like it was going to be to start, and then it ended up not really being. But yeah. Well, folks, thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for all your emails and Facebook comments and tweets and TikToks. And what else do we do? What's that one that Donald Trump did?
Do we do
Truthers or Truthies or something?
I don't think it's come out yet. I mean,
your titles?
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't think. No, I haven't gotten the reminder email yet. So I haven't gotten it yet.
Really quick. Did we even talk about Penn State, Michigan State?
No, there's nothing to talk about it. Two disappointing teams.
Yeah,
It is a 3:30 ABC game.
Yeah, that's a 3:30, 10-7 game on ABC.
It just, what? Like I looked for like, there's just nothing. There's nothing about it. Like there's just.
I think Michigan State blows them out of the water. It happens every time a coach signs a huge deal. I swear.
Well, both of these coaches sign huge deals, so they're both going to blow each other out.
I know. But
what's going to happen here? The bowl, the 10-year contract bowl. Like they're both going to get, like, instead of a trophy,
Franklin's happened.
it's going to be a
Franklin's
contract.
happened like today. So that I mean, he probably wasn't.
But Mel Tucker, I don't think
now,
has signed that deal
okay,
yet.
now this is the real Celebration Bowl here. Both these dudes just made 10 years. They just signed 10 years contract. They're about to be worth $100 million. I know they have the Celebration Bowl like before the other bowls, but this is the Celebration Bowl.
Like I'm guessing that these teams, like the two coaches, are gonna like gather at midfield before the game, and I'm like, yeah, so how much you get? And the guy's like 95 mil.
No, they're going to discuss planes, what private jets they're going to buy.
Yeah. Hey, do you recommend anybody that can? You have a pilot you can recommend? Yeah, I have.
What about sheets? I have $100 million now.
Yeah,
what kind of sheets do I buy?
About, hey, what kind of silk sheets? I don't know. I heard this guy on a podcast this week talking about how he returns honey. I won't be returning mine.
Yeah, that's probably what they do talk like for real. Okay, well, folks, I'm sorry. We actually don't appreciate your social media interaction. We are much more interested in talking about Penn State and Michigan State. And
I just thought I'd bring it up.
They're not even rivals. Is there a trophy involved with this game?
I don't know.
I bet there's not.
Like these are the type of games that it's kind of like it sucks when you don't have a natural rival that you can play at the end of the season. So they're just like putting like two teams that don't have a rival together to try to create a rival. Like Miami plays Duke. Like there's no rivalry there. Like
that should be the kick return bowl.
Exactly.
Or the
we used to play. You know who we used to play? We used to play Pitt every the last game of the season. They try to make that a rivalry. It just doesn't work unless you have like a natural. It's like nothing interesting. We have to compete against Auburn, Alabama.
Why don't they play Florida State the last game of the year? They should.
Because Florida State by contract, they're the two big public universities here. So by contract, they have to play.
What's Miami's second biggest rivalry?
We don't have one, right?
Notre Dame.
It used to be Florida, and they dropped us from the schedule. So,
I mean, like Pitt or one of those old Big East teams.
Pitt. I mean, we don't like Virginia Tech.
I would probably say, off the top of my head, it'd be Virginia Tech because I remember
Virginia
those great
Tech,
Mike Vick games.
Boston College. Those are just teams you played every year. Yeah. So it'd be like Boston College, Virginia Tech.
I think Georgia Tech maybe for y'all because they're
it's just like
they have to play Georgia.
They play Georgia, so yeah.
Yeah, no, we don't have one. We don't have a natural.
What about that the University of Havana used to play in bowl games again?
Yes, the University of Havana doesn't even have a roof over their head right now as we speak. So I highly doubt that they even can field a football team.
Was there another hurricane? Is that?
No, it's just Cuba.
It's just capitalist Cuba, you mean? Communist Cuba was doing very well.
Communist Cuba. The communist
they're capitalists now, aren't they?
No, they're communists. What are you talking about?
I thought that Obama went in there and fixed it all.
No, he didn't. He fixed a bunch of other things.
Thanks, Obama.
We're not political here.
No. He's not a political figure anymore.
No, he's not.
He's not in office. Neither is anybody else we talked about on this podcast.
Is anybody in office right now?
The Trump is not in office.
But is anybody actually in office right now? I do not believe we have.
Is this a let's go Brandon thing?
I don't know.
What you're going for?
Billy,
what, Sean?
We didn't. What's our toilet bowl for the week? It's got to be. UMass, New Mexico.
Who's UMass playing?
Yeah, UMass, New Mexico is probably the toilet bowl. It's
New Mexico State favored by 6.
we kind of gave up on the toilet bowl bit midway through the season, or at least I did. The toilet bowl is Florida State, Florida.
Yeah. Well, it's been playing better though.
So. Yeah, but this is both of these teams are what? Oh God! This is what both. If you would have told both fan bases that they would be 5-6 heading into this game, they would have been.
Florida State would have been
furious. No. They're still angry about. More Florida State people than me.
But, no, they would have been happy. Florida, on the other hand.
Okay, well,
not happy about that.
Anything else?
Really pointless rivalry game. Northwestern and Illinois. Both teams have losing records.
I thought didn't they play last week? Didn't they play last week? Or no.
Sean,
Northwestern played in Wrigley Field against, I guess that was Purdue last week.
Remember when they made it a rivalry that it was like Wake Forest against Vanderbilt the last week of the season?
Yeah,
they would do.
When was that?
What happened to that? They would like it was like a couple of years that they were like, let's just find like two really like smart schools with like, you know, student bodies less than 5,000 people to play each other at the end of the regular season to try to make like an SEC ACC
that's
rivalry.
That's gonna happen again in 2022 and 23.
Yeah, they had that for a while.
I don't know. I think it has something to do. I think Tennessee. So for years, Tennessee played Kentucky the last game of the year, and then Vanderbilt was the week before, and then Vanderbilt would play like Wake Forest or somebody like a smart school or something like the week after, and then it's like I want to say like I don't know, like 8 or 9 years ago, I think it changed to where Vanderbilt got switched to the last game because it's an in-state rivalry, and they wanted to make that part of rivalry week, and then the Kentucky game just got kind of moved over all around the place. So.
Yeah, Kentucky's in Louisville now. They're not gonna let that go.
From 07 to 13, they played 6 times. 6 times in 7 years.
Yeah.
And they went with the team. It was 3-3. They played 2000. They played in 2005. I mean, like that looks like one of those like both teams committed to it and it just didn't take, so they just gave up. But they are playing in 22 and 23.
Their mascots look so similar.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like their colors.
One wears a pirate hat. One wears a top hat.
Their colors are almost exactly the same too.
Yeah.
This is the thing with like, when my wife pointed this out when we were watching Arkansas and Alabama. It's like, why are these teams both have the exact same colors? And the same thing with Mississippi State and A&M. And it's because when these color schemes and all that were designed, nobody ever thought that A&M and Mississippi State would ever play every year, or Alabama and Arkansas would play every year because they were both in different conferences. So if you look at like those like conferences circa 1950, none of those teams have any of the similar colors. You know,
I don't have a big issue with it.
That's annoying. You know, I hate it, but like, what do you? I mean, there's.
But the SEC has a lot of that, though.
Yes, the SEC in particular has a lot of that.
Like the same mascots. You have like Bulldogs on the East and the West.
You have 3 Tigers. You have 2 Bulldogs. Tigers. Yeah.
Florida and Auburn have the same colors, pretty much.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like they're both.
Auburn's got more of a navy blue, and then Florida's
both orange and blue.
Brighter.
Well, you know that. I mean, Auburn and Virginia. I mean, I know they're not in the same conference, but Auburn and Virginia are the same colors.
Yeah.
Which made it really confusing a few years ago.
Different tone. Yeah, that's true.
That's true. A little bit, but like when you're playing, you can't see it.
Nobody really has Tennessee's orange, though. Tennessee's orange it stands out.
If you weren't a fan, like if you're a casual college football fan, Texas looks the same.
That's a burnt orange.
I'm saying if you're a casual fan, not me.
I think even if you're a casual fan, you would notice it. I don't.
I think if you put your girlfriend and just said
Syracuse's orange is closer, or Clemson orange is closer than Texas orange.
Yeah, but they're both UT and they're both orange.
FSU and Boston College have the same color scheme.
Yes.
I mean, Clemson on Tennessee's orange is very similar.
Yeah, it's closer, but like Clemson has
that purple.
Clemson's more of like, so Tennessee's a bright orange. Syracuse is the closest. They're kind of a bright orange too, but it's more off. Clemson is just orange, like it's just a basic orange, and then Texas is a burnt orange.
I love how we just went down the rabbit hole here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're still listening to this, you know, I respect you.
God bless you.
I respect you. You're
probably a close friend of everyone here.
Well, you're a good man, almost assuredly a man.
Or a woman.
No, you're probably a man. Let's just be honest.
No.
What do our demographics look like? What woman listens to this and why?
Our wives.
Oh yeah.
So that we can have people talk about it.
My wife stopped listening to this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. We lost the fan.
She said there were better options, which, you know, You know, sometimes
as
you
long
have
as she
to
doesn't say that,
That hurts.
as long as she doesn't say that about your marriage, you're good.
Well, you know, yeah. Well,
That'll be trouble right there.
that would be the definition of trouble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have better options.
Yeah,
I'm going to listen to the Shutdown Fullcast because that's so structured. Yeah.
I love that.
They don't
that
actually
podcast.
talk about football, so that's more her speed. Football podcasts that don't talk about football. Okay, well, I will thank you guys for a third time for following us on various social media channels. Winsipedia says Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So, you know, that's great. Well, yeah.
That's
yeah,
it.
I think that's it. No more tangents for us.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your holiday. And you know, while I'm thinking about it, you know, given some of the events this past week in our lives, things that with people that we knew, it made me think that everybody listening to this or not listening to this, whatever, remember to tell people that you love them at every opportunity you get, because you don't know when or if you're going to get another chance.
I love you guys.
Love y'all.
Love you too, man. Love you guys.
Thank you for listening to the CFB Channel podcast.